Why would you be a bootleg version of somebody else when you can be the best version of yourself? Just because you had a setback doesn't mean you can't come back. It's not that you're not good enough or that you're not smart enough or that you're not pretty enough. It's that you're not giving yourself a fighting chance. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, hi, my name is Tara, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how to stop comparing yourself to people. But before we get into that, I just want to let you know that this is my first official episode on my series that I'm doing on my channel called Letters to Her, and if you want to know what that's about and why I decided to do that series and why I'm super excited about it, then just click the card above. It'll give you a little summary. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So you've probably heard the spiel 1,000 times. You're gonna hear it again. I feel like the number one reason why it's so easy to compare ourselves and our lives to other people is because we have 1,000 upon millions of people's stories being pumped to us every single day. Like, you open your phone and you're seeing everybody's highlight reels and all these amazing things. And I think something to definitely put into perspective is that not everything that people are portraying online is their lives all the time. But even if somebody's living their best possible life, like every day they're just happy, every day there's something going on, that's okay. But that's no reason to compare yourself and to push yourself down because somebody else is living their best life. One of the things that have helped me to kind of remove that thought is to realize that everybody's journey is different. Let's just put this into perspective, right? You are on your own path and somebody else is also taking their own path. And so if you're focused on what you have to do and you're focused on what you are trying to achieve, you don't have time to worry about somebody else's stuff. But like I said, with social media and just the way our society is set up, it's so easy to just sit there and overanalyze and compare yourself and feel like you're in the wrong place. But the thing is, who is telling you that you're in the wrong place? Who is measuring whether you're in the right place or not in the right place? Because at the end of the day, everybody's journey is different. So maybe you are in a place that you're not happy with. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily in the wrong place. It just means that your path looks different than the next girl, and that's completely okay. But sitting there and analyzing yourself and discrediting yourself and your purpose simply because somebody else is in a different path is not what you need to do. Because let's be for real, you comparing yourself to somebody, what is it doing for you? Is it making you happy? It's tearing you down. It's making you feel and doubt yourself and your abilities. Comparing yourself doesn't even do anything for you. It rather stresses you out. So why are you sitting there comparing yourself to people? And I know, because it's so difficult sometimes to see somebody doing something or achieving the things that you want to do. But you have to realize that if somebody is able to achieve those things, you can also achieve those things. Something I really like is I heard this quote. I'm a huge quote person. I heard this quote that said that if God is blessing your neighbor, that means he's in the neighborhood. And I just love that so much. That means that if somebody is doing something that you also want to achieve, you can achieve that thing. That person probably also started at zero just like you. Maybe they got there a little quicker than you. That's okay. But that doesn't mean that you can't also achieve that thing and you can't also go after what you want to go after. The grass is green where you water it. Instead of you to be focusing on your own grass, you're comparing which grass is greener. Why? So focus on what you are doing, and when you really pump in all your energy and attention into what you're doing, you don't even have time to stop and look at somebody else's path or what somebody else is doing. You should actually use that as a form of encouragement. If this person can do it, I can do it. And I think something else that really helps me is to believe that the place that I'm in right now is the place I'm supposed to be in. Sometimes the places that we're put in, the reason why we're in this place or we're experiencing these things is because you realize that what you're going through might actually bless somebody else. Whenever I'm in a specific situation, maybe I'm comparing my life to somebody else, I realize that, like, what is God trying to teach me in this season? Why am I in this place right now? Like, what can I learn from the situation and experiences that I'm going through? Because you realize that sometimes you're going through this thing so that you can teach somebody else or that you can help somebody else in the exact situation. I have been on YouTube for a really long time. I think this is like my 8th year of me being on YouTube. And throughout my whole experience, I've definitely beat myself up. I've overanalyzed. I told myself I wasn't good enough. I discredited myself. But then I started to think that maybe the reason why I'm going through this journey and doing all these things is so that I could help somebody else who's probably going through the same thing. Maybe you're dealing with this addiction or something right now. You're fighting to come out of it, and finally you're able to come out of it. That addiction that you're going through, somebody else is going through that addiction, and your experience and what you've gone through can help somebody else. God puts you in specific situations, allows you to go through specific experiences so it can be for somebody else. Sometimes your life is not just about you. It's about other people. And so what you're going through, what you're experiencing could be for somebody else. Your testimony is somebody else's testimony, and your testimony can help somebody. How many times have you watched a video, a YouTuber or an Instagrammer or whoever, and you watch their stuff and it encourages you? You can relate to them and it actually like pushes you to do something. There are tons of people I've watched that have gone through what I've gone through, and watching their video brought me a sense of comfort. They might not know it, but they helped me. So you too, what you're going through, God, it might be tweaking some things around for somebody else. And I think just believing that no matter what happens, at the end of the day, it's gonna work out for me is also something to put in perspective. One Bible verse I love, I'll find it, but it said, all things work together. All things is the key that you have to find. All things work together for all things work together for the good of those who love him. And the thing about it says all things. So all your mistakes, all your setbacks, all your issues, all of those things are working together for your good. So no matter what you do, if you have this belief that I'm in the right place, I'm supposed to be in this place at this time, then you realize that you don't worry, because you know that eventually I'll make it. Everything is working for me. No matter where I go, everything will be okay, and I will actually achieve the things that I need to achieve. One thing I heard somebody say is that, who do you think you are that you're more powerful to move or shift the place that God has called you to be? And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because what he's basically saying is that God has the final say. So no matter where you're going, no matter what's happening, no matter how many setbacks you have, at the end of the day, God has the final say. He's the one who decides what is happening in your life. So if God says you're going to be successful, you'll be successful. So if you're meant to do something, no matter what you can humanly do, God is going to do it regardless. It's all up to you to just focus and believe that he can do it for you, because he can do it for you. Why would you be a bootleg version of somebody else when you can be the best version of yourself? You're called to be the best version of yourself. You can't be the best version of somebody else. It doesn't even make sense. So if you sit down and you focus on your purpose and the reason why you're supposed to do things, and you just keep pushing, everything will work out for you. But don't try to be a copycat version of somebody else, because you'll lose in that competition, because they will win every single time. That's what you're called to do, is be the best version of yourself. So comparing yourself to somebody else is not helping you. It's not getting you closer to being the best version of yourself. Rather, it's beating you up and holding you up from what you're supposed to do. Because when you compare yourself and you look at somebody else and you're overanalyzing their path, you stop focusing on your own path. You waste your time, and time is short. Something I've been learning in these past couple months is that life is short, very short. Before you open your eyes, life is over. Why are you wasting your precious time focusing on Stacy's path when you should be focusing on your own path and what you're supposed to do? And this is easier said than done, I know, because I'm preaching to you, but last week I was feeling some discouragement, because I was like, man, I feel like I've been doing this thing, and it wasn't even just YouTube. Like, I feel like I've been doing all these things and I just feel like I'm being set back. But the thing about it is that just because you had a setback doesn't mean you can't come back. Hey! I'm preaching to somebody. Just because you failed some classes doesn't mean you can't retake the classes. Just because you've been on YouTube for some time and your subscribers hasn't grown doesn't mean that it won't grow. We have seasons in our life, and each season is meant to teach you something or to help you with something. The thing is that sometimes we're afraid of rejection. At this one, I'm preaching to myself. Fear of rejection. Like, you don't want to be rejected. You don't want anybody to tell you no or whatever, and you just feel like, I'm just gonna take myself out of this, because if I take myself out, at least I rejected myself. But the idea that somebody else rejected me hurts me, and I don't want to deal with that. Sometimes rejection is redirection. And because you haven't been rejected because you didn't even try to do the thing, you're standing there like some sim. You know how like the Sims in the video game, and it's like, and they're just waiting for you to like make the decision. You're standing like a sim, just waiting for somebody to do something. Mind you, you can't get that redirection if you didn't get rejected, if you didn't try the thing. But you're so afraid of trying the thing because you want it to be perfect. My dear, we are not perfect. I'm not perfect. We're just trying our very best, but you have to give it everything you got. Stop comparing your journey to somebody else's. With social media especially, I don't like how people are always like, I'm gonna show you how to gain 1,000 subscribers in one day. It makes it this thing of, you can do this thing really quickly. Things that have longevity take a long time to accumulate or to grow. If you try to find a quick way or a cheat way to do something, you're actually not helping yourself. You want to do it so quickly because somebody else did it so quickly. The person who's there that did it so quickly, you don't even know the repercussions of what they did. That's what I'm saying. saying, social media, people will post the highlights, but they don't post the behind the scenes. They don't post the tears, the blood and sweat that took them to get there. And sometimes even when you get there, you're like, hey, is this everything? You see it all the time. People on social media and stuff, they'll be like, they finally hit this number, they hit 1 million, 100,000, all this stuff, and they feel like hopeless, or they feel like, is this it? Is this everything? Instead of you to enjoy the journey, to learn, to grow, and just have fun with what you're doing, you're so preoccupied about the glamour and the glitz of things. That's what I'm saying. Don't compare yourself to people, because when you get there, you say, this person, they said it would be like this, but really it was like this. Or when you get there, you realize, oh, is this everything? Every time you're always chasing after something. You have value, you have ideas, you have dreams. Things are gonna work out for you. But don't sit there and compare yourself to Stacy. I don't know who Stacy is, but I'm using her today, Stacy or Kofi. And don't remove yourself and think that, well, I'm just not good enough for this thing. You are good enough. You have ideas to bring into the world. And because of you, many people are not even doing what they're supposed to do. Because like I'm saying, your destiny sometimes is tied into other people's destiny. So because you didn't do that thing that you were supposed to do, somebody else is not also doing the thing they're supposed to do. Because you were the one who's supposed to bring the encouragement. You were the one that was supposed to be a inspiration to somebody, but you couldn't because you discounted yourself. There's room for everybody. Some girl was saying that when you go to the store, there's different waters. Dasani, there's Fiji, there's all these different water brands, and they're all still in business because they bring a different thing that the next water doesn't go, but they're all water. One of the quotes that I really like, the presence of somebody else's beauty isn't the absence of your own. And I like to change it. The presence of somebody else's success, the presence of somebody else's intelligence, the presence of somebody else's growth isn't the absence of your own. There's room for you to grow. Growth is growth, whether it's one person or 2 people or 50,000 people. Don't compare yourself. Don't discount yourself. Don't think that you are not good enough, because you are good enough. And it's hard. I'm speaking to myself, editing Tara, listen, and I'm going to watch this video over and over again, because even the things I'm saying is encouraging me as I'm sitting here. The thing is, if I keep applying pressure to something over and over again at a steady pace, eventually the thing will break. And many of us, before we hit our breakthrough, before we hit our blessing, before we hit our thing, we stop because we're afraid, or we feel like we're not good enough, or we're comparing ourselves to the next person. And you realize it takes time, especially with all these celebrities recently who have been like blowing up with the Grammys and stuff. I was listening to some people's stories and they were saying, I've been in the industry for 17 years. I've been in the industry for 10 years. Well, sometimes you want instant gratification. It's like when I do something, I expect it to blow up now. When I do this thing, when I study once, I expect to just understand the material and keep going. When I exercise maybe for a month, I'm expecting to keep the weight down. No, you have to continuously, constantly be doing something to see success over a long period of time. You can't do something short-lived and expect the longevity of the thing. It's not gonna work. If you post your content every month, how will you grow? I'm a good example. Go and look at my channel. When I posted every month, I wasn't growing. I was rather losing subscribers. My number was like this, because I wasn't even like usually the graph's supposed to go up. It was going down because I was losing people because I wasn't posting. So I told myself, I'm tired. I'm tired of always comparing myself. I'm tired of always feeling like I'm not good enough. So I'm gonna give it everything I got. And some of you, it's not that you're not good enough, or that you're not smart enough, or that you're not pretty enough. It's that you're not giving yourself a fighting chance. You're doing it halfway, expecting the full results. It doesn't work like that. It's not magic. You can't reap if you're worried about what somebody else is sowing. Doesn't make sense. I'm speaking to my younger self, and I'm saying that don't compare yourself. You don't want to spend your life thinking about what somebody else is doing or how they're achieving this and this and this. Rather be inspired by people. If you notice that somebody, their success is maybe you're just sitting there always comparing yourself, mute some people. If this person is like, every time I watch their stuff I feel some way, then just mute them. And then when you're ready and you've come with this mindset that everything is okay, I'm gonna be inspired by them, I can do it too, then start following them. But if you're always muting people and always closing people off because you're always envious or jealous of their success, that's a whole other problem that we have to talk about in another video. What I'm trying to say is that, like, give yourself a fighting chance. There's a reason why you're here. You weren't just plopped on this earth for nothing. I always say that God could have made me a water bottle. He could have made me a fan. It's to say that the fact that you were put here as a human being to live in this existence means there's a purpose for your life, because you could have been anything else. I was watching this video and this guy was saying that, like, there's some people who died this morning. There's some people who didn't wake up. There are some people who they didn't get a chance to live as long as you have. So the fact that you woke up this morning, that you're watching this video, means that you still have a purpose for your life. So don't compare yourself to somebody else's journey. Maybe you're on chapter 3 and somebody's on chapter 21 and you don't know because you just think that, like, oh, this person has always been successful. But a lot of times when you look back at all these social media people, you look back at people, you realize that they took a long time to get where they are. They put a lot of effort to get where they are. Sometimes you go in classrooms and you see some people and it's like, hey, these people are just smart, and you realize they put in time. Instead of scrolling on social social media, they're sitting there like focusing and actually like figuring out how to study, what they can do, how they learn better. Maybe when you watch videos, you look at it like, oh, it's so easy, you just sit down and film. To sit down and film and get this grammar, do you know how much it took me? So that's why I'm saying that just focus on your own thing. Don't worry about everybody's doing their own thing. Cool, great, we love it. Focus on what you're doing. Do your thing. Do it the best way you can and move on. Simple, simple, simple. You got this. Don't worry so much about somebody else's success. Rather, it should be an inspiration and to tell you that if this person can do it, me too, I can also do it. And you don't know necessarily how or when it will work for you. You don't know that the 10th video you post is actually the video supposed to get you out, but you didn't post the 10th video, so you haven't blown up. Or maybe you took this class over and over again, but the second time you took the class, you met your best friend who will actually be the best friend that you have for a lifetime, and you needed to meet her in order to succeed or blah blah blah, right? Or maybe you realized that you were supposed to go into this profession, but for some reason it didn't work out, so you ended up going here and you feel like you're lost. But actually this profession was better going to this other profession, because when you went to this profession, something would have happened to you. You never know. It's working in your favor. It's working for you. But don't give up and don't compare yourself to Kathy and all these young people. Focus on yourself. Focus on what you're doing, and I'm telling you, you'll be successful. So that is everything for this video. Stay tuned for more videos. This is just episode 1. So yeah, stay inspired. Bye.